review on the Jeffree Star X Shane Dawson collection. Well, not really the collection because I only got the palettes. So these are the two palettes that I got. I got obviously the beloved Conspiracy palette, which was honestly the main one that I wanted, and then this palette right here, which is the mini controversy palette. I'm gonna let you guys know my full thoughts on the palettes. Are they worth your money? Are they not? Should you spend your money on them? I'm also gonna show you guys how I got this look. I don't really do my full face in this video. I'm just gonna do the eye makeup and basically talk about the shadows, walk you through the tutorial, and kind of just see how I work with the shadows. I am gonna say now, actually I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say anything at all. Just continue to watch this video if you guys want to see my thoughts on the collection, or on the palettes. And yes, I've seen collection because it's not the full collection. But yeah, before I get started, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you have not, and ring the notification bell so you're notified when I post my next video. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this tutorial and review on the Jeffree Star collab with Shane Dawson. So I have both of the palettes right here. I was only able to get the palettes. So what happened was I was at the mall, I would say, what day did it launch? I think it launched on a Friday or something like that, and I went to the mall. I think it was that Monday or that Tuesday after the launch, and I passed by the Morphe store and I just saw like the Shane Dawson poster, and I was just like, okay, like let me just see like if they have the palette. So I went in and they had this palette. They did not have the mini controversy palette, so I'll get into that in a minute, but they did have the Conspiracy palette, which was honestly the only thing I really wanted from the collection. The lipsticks and the lip products, I didn't really care for it all that much. The only thing I really wanted to get my hands on was that gloss, but honestly I have clear glosses, so I don't really find that necessary. I honestly just wanted to get this stuff because I love Shane Dawson, and that's really why I wanted to get it. And I really do like Jeffree Star's eyeshadow formula. I have a few of his palettes, but it's one of those things where it's like I hardly ever play with them because I have so much makeup, and it's like I need to really get into them. But I do have a lot of his palettes. As far as the mini controversy, I went back to the mall a few days later because I needed to get something. I forgot what I needed to get. I think I went that Friday, and I went to the Morphe store and they had the mini controversy palettes. They still had some Conspiracy, but they had like 2 more left of these, and I was like, girl, is it meant to be or is it meant to be? Because I literally got my hands on it, and I was like, I didn't think I was, because that day when it launched, like I didn't even, I wasn't able to get my hands on it because of that website crash, and I just thought, I was like, oh my god, so many people on here, it's just not even gonna, like, I'm not even gonna get a chance to even get them. So I was able to get them, and I'm very happy about that. I'm gonna start off with the little mini one right here. So this is what it looks like inside. I'm pretty sure you guys know what it looks like already. So this one comes with 9 shades, and honestly the colors are pretty, but like I said, I only bought this really more so for the supporting Shane type of thing. I bought it mostly to support Shane and stuff. The colors weren't like, oh my god, wow, but they are nice, but it's not something where I'm gonna like always want to dip into this palette. Besides the neutrals, honestly the neutrals are really pretty in here. These like pops of color are cute. Like obviously like these two go together. I mean the purple and the blue could go together too, but it's just like I'm not really like that type of person to do colorful looks all the time. So I'm actually gonna swatch a couple of these. I'm gonna swatch the Cry on My Couch shade, which is that nude shade. I'm gonna swatch, well, it's like literally the color of my skin, so you can't even tell. And then I'll swatch My Boyfriend's Purse. That's like more of like a shimmery, kind of like a silvery champagne type of shade, I would say. It's pretty. It's actually a little bit chalky, I'm not gonna lie. This one is chalky. It has a nice reflection, but it is chalky. I'm gonna swatch Controversy, which is that really bright purple shade. Ooh. That one will probably have some issues blending, because one, it is a purple, and purples are really hard to formulate. They get really patchy. Okay, Diet Root Beer. This one is beautiful. This is like a perfect transition, or a transition shade that can be used to like blend out and soften up colors. And then I'll swatch Canceled, because that's another shade that really caught my attention in this palette. So this one is Canceled. That one's actually really pretty. So the only ones that I swatched that had an issue with that Controversy shade. If you guys have seen my videos before, you know that I normally don't do like full-on swatches, only because I don't judge eyeshadows based on swatches. I judge them based on how they work on the eye. So that's why I don't care for swatches. Okay, so this is the outside packaging, like you guys have seen it already, of the Conspiracy palette. Really bulky packaging, super sturdy, and literally comes with a good size mirror. And this is the inside of the palette. So these colors are really, really pretty. Again, this is not really like a uniformed palette. It's not something where, you know, you could just, it's like cohesive, I would say. It has a few colors that you could do things with, but in my personal opinion, I feel like the colors are kind of everywhere. The colors are really pretty individually, which I feel like I could like supplement these colors with some of my other palettes and my other eyeshadows that I have, but some of them are just kind of just like, why are you here? So some of them are like that shade Ranch. I'm gonna swatch it. It's so like white and like snow almost. It's a really, really reflective metallic white shade, so I think that one is pretty. I'm gonna swatch the shade. Oh, and also on this palette, the shade Diet Root Beer is duplicated, so in the Mini Controversy, Diet Root Beer is in there as well. So this is Cheeto Dust, or Cheese Dust, sorry. Really pretty orange. That is Flaming Hot, which legit looks like hot Cheeto Dust. Like, actually quite on point. And then Food Videos looks really interesting. Really neon type of yellow, highlighter yellow type of shade. And then What's the Tea? That's such a cute shade for me. Like this type of like turquoisey blue, I love. It's like one of my favorite colors ever. It's so pretty. I love it, love it, love it. And then I'm gonna swatch Diet Cola. One shade that I really did like, this one looks bomb. One shade I really did like is Sleep Paralysis. I feel like that would be so pretty, like with like a grungy, gunmetal-y, smoky eye. I don't know if I'm gonna dip much into Mini Controversy. I'll just keep it here, but I'm mostly focusing on the Conspiracy palette. Okay, so for my eyelid base, I just used my concealer, Tarte Shape Tape, and I set it a little bit with some translucent powder. I'm gonna try not to use my mirror, and I'm gonna try not to say bomb as much, because I did have somebody complain in my last video saying that I said bomb too much and that it was really annoying with my mirror like right here. So I'm gonna try not to do that. I'll probably just use like a compact mirror. Sorry, it's so dirty, but I'll just use a compact mirror and kind of just try to work that way. I'm sorry if that bothers some of you guys, but sometimes I just need to be really close up to like see what I'm doing, and these mirrors are obviously better than these tiny little mirrors. I mean, look at the difference. Duh. So that's why I like to use these mirrors, but if it is a bother, then you know I'm not gonna be and be like, oh okay, whatever, f that person, because I will, you know, take into consideration what people have to say. So right away, actually I dipped into Tanacon, which this is a Morphe R38, and right away lots of I'm trying to get it so you guys can see it, lots of kickback in that shade, which is, I don't know, it's just not something that bothers me that much, to be honest. It's not that big of a deal to me, but I know that is an issue for a lot of people, so just keep that in mind if you are thinking about getting this palette. And let me know if this is better for you guys, me looking down at this mirror. The shade is actually really pretty, really nice neutral shade. This is actually a really good shade to wear like every single day, like just in the creases, because this is so like neutral. It's the perfect shade of brown. It's not too cool, not too warm. I'm gonna dip into Diet Root Beer with the same brush. Start deepening that brown shade up. I think I am gonna go a little bit more smoky on the eyes. This is so pretty, this Diet Root Beer shade. I feel like this is another one of those shades where it could be used obviously for an everyday type of look. This is obviously super wearable. What I have going on so far. And I know this palette looks a little intimidating, especially because of all the colors. It's like kind of like, oh, what can I really do with that? But there are some neutral tones in here that you can kind of play around. But like I said, it's not one of those things where if you're like more of a neutral person, I don't think this is the palette for you. And I'm just being honest, because it is a little bit more like pungent, a little bit more bam in your face type of palette, and it's not super like, I'm really gonna say this, and I don't know how people, well, like as if people even watch my video, but it's not really a beginner friendly type of palette, just because, you know, it is a little bit more bam in your face. And I honestly feel like that with a lot of Jeffree's palettes. The aspect of them being beginner friendly is the fact that the eyeshadows are really blendable, but the colors aren't very, they're not very like approachable to someone who's just getting into makeup. So, and even me, I've been in doing makeup for a while, and I've just never been, like I said, that person to dip into a whole bunch of colors. I'm actually gonna take the shade Pigment, which is that pink shade. I want to see how it kind of blends in with this. I'm taking a Morphe M503. I feel like the pink kind of washed it out, but it's fine because I'm kind of gonna want to go in that direction. I want to dip into that Trish shade because it's really pretty, that shade. I think I'm gonna do a half cut crease. Might do a wing liner, I'm not sure, but I'll see how I feel about that. I always have an eye that looks better. This feels like it's my left eye that looks better all the time. I'm gonna take like a packer brush. This is a Morphe M210. And I'm gonna take the shade Not a Fact and kind of just start packing that on the outer corner, slightly in the crease. So with this shade, I'm kind of just doing more of a packing motion and kind of rounding out the eye. I am noticing I have to kind of use a lot of this shade for the pigment to even show. So I don't know how I feel about that. And this is a pretty dense brush, so usually with denser brushes you don't have to do as much. So it's a little bit weird to me. Okay, so I'm gonna take the shade Pigment mixed with Not a Fact, and I'm gonna mix those together, and I'm kind of gonna just blur out the edges with this M503. Just softly blurring out the edges. Yeah, I might use the shade Controversy in this palette. See what kind of effect it gives me. Kind of just packing it on with this. This is a JS6. It's a Jeffree Star X Morphe brush. This is my first time using this brush. It actually works really good. This actually gives me more of a pop of color, which is nice. So I'm just kind of packing and slightly rubbing it. Okay, that actually looks really good. So I cut my crease off the camera and I'll be right back. So I just cut my creases, and I'm actually gonna take, I always like to kind of set my eye base a little bit before I go in with the shimmer, only because I don't want my my concealer to crease, and I feel like that's always an issue I have because I do have like hooded lids. So I'm gonna just set it a little bit, just a tiny bit, just so everything kind of stays neutral and fine and doesn't crease on me. I'm gonna take the shade on Cry on My Couch, and I'm gonna take, I'll just take like a random fluffy brush. It doesn't really matter what brush you use, and just like lightly press that on. I used my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer to cut my crease, which is what I always use. I feel like that's the best cut creaser deal, along with the MAC 242 brush. Those are my holy grail cut creasers. For me personally, I know there's like a lot of things you could use and you could do, but that's what works for me. I tried to get into the P. Louise base method, but it just didn't work for me. So I just stick to what I know and what works best for me, which is what everybody should do. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna actually take the shade. Okay, I'm gonna do a few things. So I'm gonna take the shade Not a Fact, and I'm actually gonna start blending out those edges of the concealer. Kind of start blending, lightly blending. So I'm just doing this. Okay, I don't know if you guys could see, but this area on my eye, that purple shade, Controversy, I believe, in this mini Controversy palette is like really washing out. So I think I'm just gonna take that shade and kind of pat it on, try to save it. I am gonna add black, so hopefully that'll fix things. Okay, yeah, it messed up. I don't know if you guys could see. I set the base and it's like clinging on to it. That's really annoying. It was going pretty good with the palette. I think that Controversy shade is just really problematic. I'm just gonna take the black, actually, mixed with Not a Fact. Kind of low-key ruining the look, because it's grabbing onto this corner right here and it's really annoying. Yeah, see what I mean? It's like really like, I shouldn't have cut my crease, I don't think. It's not going well. But I'm just gonna try and cover it up with the shimmer and see. So I'm gonna take the shade Trisha. I'm just gonna take it with my finger. I'm gonna do that all over my lid and see if that could fix any issues we're having. So I usually do that, and then I'll go in with like a brush to kind of just get into like the nooks and crannies of the eye that I can't reach with my finger. I'm gonna try and like salvage this as much as possible. I'm just gonna take this brush, start blending out the black part of it. See, like, look at this, like, now you can really tell like the patchiness right here. What I might do actually is just grab more concealer and cut the rest of the eye. I don't really want to do a wing liner today, only because I just don't really feel like it, but now I kind of have to. And it's still like patchy right here. I don't know if you guys could see that. And that's as best as I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna start to do a little bit of more detail work. So I'm going to take a small brush. I'm going to take the shade Not a Fact. I'm going to start popping this kind of like on the outer edge of the eye. Diet Cola. I'm going to pack it on the inner portion of my lid. Yeah, I think I'm going to wet this shade just to give myself a little bit more. Yeah, because it's not really giving me what I want. Pack it on, see how that does. It looks really good. Usually I like to apply shimmers with my finger, but I think these shimmers do better with a damp brush. I'm gonna go back in with Trish. I'm actually gonna dampen her up a little bit. Just hit it right on top of the Diet Cola shade. Trisha actually isn't as reflective as I thought it would be. I thought it would be a little bit more metallic-y. I feel like I have to really dig into these shades though for some reason, like to really get maximum payoff. Okay, I'm gonna dip into the black mixed with Not a Fact. The black shade does have a little bit of fallout. Okay, I was really not planning to go that direction, but it's looking pretty cute, so I'm gonna keep it. So this little tiny brush, this is the Morphe JH42, which is they have a different a regular Morphe one. This is from the Jaclyn Hill collection, but this one's really good. I've talked about it before, to get into like the little like top part of the cut crease. I dip first mixing the shade, and then I kind of realized, I'm like, oh, I think I'm just gonna dip into the black, and then I just dipped into the black, and I'm kind of going inward with just the black. This is honestly not the best black that I've used. I've definitely used more pigmented blacks in the past. I'm gonna add some liner to the black because it does wash out quite a bit. So I'm just I'm gonna trace it with liner. Okay, I'm kind of scared to do this. That looks way better. Honestly, I feel much better about the look. So this is what I have actually going on right now. I'm gonna do the rest of my face off of camera, and then I'll be back to do the under eyes and share my final thoughts on this palette. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm gonna think about it because it's been a little rough with me, but I'm gonna do the rest of my face off camera and I'll be back. This is what I have going on so far. I added just 2 little rhinestones. I added one out here and one in my inner corner just to kind of give myself a little bit more zhuzh. I wanted to add more, but I don't have enough, so I'm gonna have to go to the craft store and get on getting some. I'm gonna take the black, just called my rides here, and I'm gonna tightline that really carefully because this black does have fallout. I'm gonna dip into the shade Pigment. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I didn't do too much at the bottom. Actually, I'm not gonna do too much because I don't want it to be super like bam in your face. I'm gonna take my black liner. This is from ColourPop, and this is the shade Swerve. I'm actually gonna take this shade Trisha, and I'm gonna pop it kind of like in the inner corner at the bottom. So this is the finished look that I came up with. Oh my god, look at all the eyeshadow that's like literally on my chest. Yikes. But this is the finished look that I came up with using the Jeffree Star Cosmetics X Shane Dawson. So I didn't really use this one. Like I said, I did use that Controversy shade, and no, like that just did not work out for me. A lot of the shadows in this particular one worked well for me, except the black. I think that one's like a little bit of a miss for me. Usually I'm okay with like black eyeshadows, but that one had a lot of fallout, and it was a little bit patchy. I don't know if it was patchy because of that shade in the Mini Controversy palette, but it was patchy and it was giving me issues. Another thing that I'd like to say about the palette, I really do like how I was able to like salvage the look. This is definitely not a look that I had in mind. Clearly, I never do looks like this. Oh, and by the way, these lashes are unscripted lashes in the style Risky, which are really pretty. This is my first time using this lash company. I believe this is Crispy's lash company, and I think they look really pretty. They're very fluffy, full, but they still flare out at the end, which I always look for in a lash. I love lashes that flare out but that are like still full. Like I said, I did have some issues with the eyeshadows in terms of blending. I would say I really like how the look came out, but I don't think this is a palette that I feel like this is more of like a collector's item, and I hate to say that, but I think it's true. I think this is something where people who really like love Shane Dawson, like for me, like I really bought it solely for the purpose because I love Shane Dawson. I know I like Jeffree Star's shadows and his formulas, but I didn't buy it for that. Honestly, I wasn't too crazy about the color palette. I bought it for the purpose because I wanted to support Shane Dawson, and that's why I got the palette. And I think them doing the series and everything kind of like made it look like, I don't know, like it just, I think it was smart on their part to do a series because it did like open the door. Like I said prior, it opened the door to like have everyone see how like everything's made, all the stuff that goes behind the scenes of a makeup, you know, launch, which I think that was so cool because no one has ever really done that before, and I think that's like really cool to see like what really goes on. And I don't know if like I would ever want to start a makeup company, but I feel like for people that do that, it was like cool to like see everything that goes on. I feel like some people think it's like just so easy peasy, and it's really not. It's a lot of work. I don't know, I feel like the shadows work good, like I said, but it's something where it's like, it's for people who are more like collecting the item, or like people who really do like using shadows like this. But like I said, I'm not, the color scheme was a little bit all over the place for me. The shadows did fall out quite a bit. I dug pretty deep into the Diet Cola shade, but I still have like, it didn't really make that much of a dent, but I felt like I had to dig deep. I felt like I really had to dig deep into the Trisha shade. But yeah, look at all like the fallout residue. I don't know if you can see it like on my mirror. It was so much, and then like colors would like transfer into pans, which I don't really like because I feel like it kind of like manipulates the color of the other shadows. That was about the palette. I really did enjoy playing with it. I didn't like how I had to like basically redo this whole look because just for the sole fact that I literally had to try and like think of something to make it better or make it fixable, because sorry, I'm cleaning my chest. I have so much eyeshadow on my chest. Look at the residue that came off of my chest because it fell out. But I kind of had to fix it. Like I had no choice but to like go in and like kind of like think of something on my feet. But that's pretty much it. I would say the palette, if I had to rate it between 1 and 10, I would have to rate it probably about a 6. I didn't play enough with the mini controversy palette, so, but judging on the shadow that I did use on here, I'm gonna have to rate it probably like a 3, because that purple shade really messed me up like big time. So I think that was the main thing. But I really do like how this look came out. I've never done a look like this. I actually want to try and get into more like cut creases and like more kind of like just like natural cut creases. I always do like a cut crease, half cut crease, and that's it. Like I never do like a full-on like cut crease like this, and I feel like it looks really pretty. So let me know what you guys think of this palette. Let me know what you think of the look that I was able to create with the palette. Personally, I think it was okay. Like I said, you guys already know my opinion on the palette. Let me know if you guys bought the palette, if you guys wanted to get your hands on it but you couldn't. Just let me know down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And that's it for today. I hope to see you in the next one.